There is a saying that all of life's a stage. Ironically, I've spent most of my life on a stage. I was in 5th grade when I was first cast in a show that a local theater group was putting on. I was only cast as an extra. I'd had about 3 lines said in unison with a bunch of other actors, and that was about it. But at the time, I hadn't only been an extra on stage. I had felt like I was an extra in my own life. 5th grade was a pretty tough year for me. At the school I went to at the time, the students were raised in a very suppressive environment. The age my friends and I were at was about the time when we were starting to be considered the big kids. So the adults started laying down these unspoken rules of conform, don't act out, and if you don't fall into these certain categories, fix it. Now, my mom didn't want me to be brainwashed into this kind of act, so she taught me to continue being myself, which I'm very grateful for. However, some of my friends were starting to listen. Before I knew it, they started quieting down, stifling what they really wanted to do, keeping their opinions to themselves, etc., etc. So here we were, a group of these kids thinking that being yourself was a bad thing that should be punished. And then there's me, a loud, happy 11-year-old, still skipping around, going through my random phase, and most importantly, speaking my mind. You can probably see the danger in this situation already. So my friends started turning their backs on me, insulting me for being myself. They manipulated me into thinking that I was of little worth and that being me was a mistake. At the time, I didn't really know what was happening. All I knew was that I felt very, very small. Thankfully, 5th grade passed, I went to a new school, and now I have amazing friends who I wouldn't trade for the world. I also continued doing theater and have developed so much as an actress since then. I was able to just brush off 5th grade of something along the lines of, whatever, my friends were probably just hormonal or something. I just thought it was nothing major, until recently, that is. One day, I was talking to my best friend, who I also met through theater, funnily enough, and she had told me before about this friend that she'd had for a while, but had actually been horrible to her the entire course of their friendship. So I was having trouble understanding her when she was telling me about it. I was like, well, why can't you just cut ties with them? I mean, I know it's really difficult and stuff, but it would be the healthiest thing overall to remove that negativity from your life, right? Now you see, her and I tend to talk in metaphors, especially when we're having a difficult time explaining ourselves. So after thinking for a while, she finally said, I just can't. I'm not the main character. They are. That hit me hard. Not only did I understand what she was talking about, but I had been through it. And I just couldn't stop thinking about it. Her words rang in my head, because that was the perfect description for it. It gets to a point where it feels like you weren't meant to be the one controlling your life. What was even more shocking to me was that this feeling wasn't a rarity. So many people take advantage of another to a point where it feels like you aren't the main character of your own life. This feeling is a poison, and I feel it's time we find the antidote. In life, I believe there are 2 groups you can feel you fall into, either the main characters or the extras. The groups can be distinguished easily from each other, from big actions to small things they do. Even body language can sometimes indicate how they feel about themselves. Now, I don't know if you know this or not, but in theater, every single body movement is thought out and memorized. It's called blocking. So the extras in shows are often blocked to make themselves blend in perfectly. A little bit of movement, but not so much that it's distracting. Most importantly, everyone is often angled back towards the main character to bring the attention back to them. Now this main character, well, they can make a big a scene as necessary. Their movements are often blocked bigger and more attention-drawing, so the audience naturally always focuses back on them. Sound familiar to real life? Do you ever find yourself constantly hiding behind whatever someone else says and not speaking your truths? Or maybe constantly seeking validation, or always hiding from the limelight? Now, I'm not saying you have to constantly crave attention. Personally, when I'm not on stage, I'm like the biggest introvert I know. What I'm saying is that you have to give yourself your own attention. Let me explain. Everyone is the main character of their own life. Like it or not, you're the one in control. It's kind of like that phrase every actor has heard over and over again, there are no small parts, only small actors. And even though it's a noteworthy item on the list of annoying things to say, it's so true. Yes, you may feel incredibly small compared to what's controlling you, but you just aren't. Like, do you ever have those mini existential crises, let's call them. When you stand in front of the mirror and all of a sudden you're just like, that's me. I'm seeing this all through my own perspective. This is what I look like. Do you know what I mean? Maybe it's just me, but still. It's like that. You're seeing this all through your own perspective, so why not make the best of it? Essentially, you write the script of your own life. Because of that, don't you think you deserve nothing less than the main character? So start to tackle what you feel has been controlling you. It doesn't only have to be a person, of course. So many things can bully you into self-doubt. Finances, addictions, or work, to name a few. Now, I'm not saying call it quits with work or school if it's been making you struggle, but every now and then it's important to just take a step back and say, okay, I'm the main character, I can do this. And just reflect on what's causing you to feel less than. Once you have that figured out, it's time to devise a plan. Bear in mind, I'm using the word plan very loosely. The word plan freaks me out just as much as the next person, so don't worry. All your plan might be is just giving yourself some love, or maybe seeking advice, or ranting to someone to get it out of your system. You'd be surprised at how far some of those things go. Like, there'll be some times when I'll just come to friends and I'll be like, listen, there's just this thing that has been frustrating me to no end, and I just need to unleash my rage, and then I just vent it all out until I have nothing left. But it works. I feel so much better after doing so, almost more confident as a person to have gotten that all off my chest. Maybe you can relate. So if it helps you realize that you are in fact the main character, fantastic. If it doesn't work, that's all right too. It's gotten you one step closer to overcoming this self-doubt. Who's to say you can't have multiple plans? I want you all to be able to walk out of this room feeling confident in yourself. To be able to say, yeah, I am the main character. I can do this. I'm in control. Confront the thing or person who's stolen this role of main character from you. All you have to do is let yourself. Because this is your story, and you deserve to be treated the way you ought to be treated. Yes, it is one of those easier said than done situations, I know. But if it helps you live a happier life, then there's nothing stopping you. I took control of my life by transferring to a different school, and I can assure you it made me so much happier and healthier. Now, I'm not asking you to do something that drastic, but go out and improve your life. The goal of my talk is to spread it. I want you to go home and repeat this message to yourself. I am the main character. Repeat it to friends and family members, and have them understand it. Have them realize that they are in fact the main character. And have these friends and family members repeat it to others they know, so on and so forth. Essentially, I want this message to become the annoying chainmail of the world, except it's positive. But really, self-doubt is a very real problem. Once we get past it, we can achieve remarkable things. Your life is your story. Well, let me correct that. Usually stories are only focused on one single problem, but that's what character development is for. So don't get to thinking that once you overcome something, your story is over. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but life is always going to be throwing things your way. But you know what? Don't view that as something bad. View it as a challenge, because you get to prove that you can get through it all, because you know how to with self-acceptance. Have as many stories as you'd like. Who's to say life is only one story? Thank you.